What's up guys, James here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. If you are new here, my name is James and I like to share tips, tricks, and tutorials and occasionally react to videos all related to web development. So today we're going to be doing a reaction video. This video comes from a guy who, according to the title of the video, is about to build a real client project in 1 week. So he's using Framer, and I've been, I hear people talk about Framer. I have to be honest, I have no idea what it is. I don't think it's WordPress. I think it's just like another builder, Squarespace, Wix, Shopify, WordPress, Framer. They're all just builders. I think that's what it is. So I'm about to find out. I've been putting off learning, what Framer is, because it's kind of like, what's the point? I'm not going to use it. I already have my own development workflow and I don't plan on changing it anytime soon. So, but it's time. I need to know things. As the world's worst web developer, I need to at least know a little bit about, everything. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to learn what Framer is. We're going to see if this guy can actually build a website in 1 week. And we're going to see, that's what we're going to see. I'll stop babbling on here. We're going to click this button down here. We're going to come over here. And I don't know why I did this to this poor guy. Of all the places to pause this video. Let's go back 13 seconds here. And 3, 2, 1.
Hey, we would love to hire you to build our brand new website. Awesome, amazing. I have availability. I would love to build your website. That's great. The only problem is we need it in about a week. That's not going to be a problem, is it?
No, not if you got the money, bro.
No problem at all. This is a true story of a client that just recently came to me and they needed a website that was polished, professional, but they needed it in under a week. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my entire process from start to finish and talk about proposals, contracts, discovery, wireframes, high fidelity design, and development to get the website up in 1 week. By the time you're done watching this video, you'll understand my process and how my team and I are able to create these types of professional websites so quickly. Step one of any good website project is to scope the project. That means figure out what you're building, what you're not building, where's the content, the assets coming from, what's the agreed upon amount, creating a shared understanding between you and your client. Now, the way to do this really quickly and not spend weeks or days doing this process is to systematize your own process. For me, I have a simple Figma file that I duplicate for a new client, and that comes with a templatized proposal. I go in and I update and just change and tweak and customize this proposal for my clients. I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time and rewrite a new proposal. I'm just tweaking a couple of choice things. It's a cover page with their name, a project overview that includes the scope of work, their investment page that tells them how much they're going to spend, as well as some optional add-ons, a bunch of terms and conditions, an acceptance page, and a thank you page. I create that, and then I send them a PDF as well as just the link to this Figma file. And this document actually has a spot where they can just go immediately and pay. I have a Stripe checkup set out, so they can just click on that, open it up in the browser, put in that deposit amount, and they are ready to go. That's as complex as it needs to be. And usually I'm doing this in an initial call with the client. So we're talking about 45 minutes to 60 minutes of work to get the scope laid out and understand what the project is. Next, we're going to move into discovery. The discovery phase of a website project should really accomplish two things. Number one, it should help you clarify in a deeper, more meaningful way what you're building, why you're building it, who you're building it for. But number two, it should help you to establish some success metrics for the project so that your clients love exactly what you create for them. They come back to you, they refer you, and give you more clients in the future. To do this, I use a simple discovery session document that I have in Figma that has a series of questions. Questions about the problem we're trying to solve, questions about the user that we're solving it for, and the challenges specifically for the project. So with that, I would use...
Okay, is Ahoy Ahoy the name of the project that he's going to be working on right now? I don't think that's what he calls his channel. Yeah, must be the project he's working on.
Usually jump on a call and have a discovery session, walk my clients through it. Because I didn't have the time, I just uploaded this empty document to ChatGPT with the URL of the current website for my client and asked ChatGPT to act as the client answer these questions. Once it was done, I uploaded those answers into the document, sent it to my client, and I got approval immediately because it was almost 99% dead on to exactly what the client was looking for. Because in this day and age, you can use AI tools like ChatGPT to be a user persona, to act like your client, to get deeper insights and do user research. So that's exactly what I did, and that process took me about 35 minutes to accomplish, as well as using a tool like Reloom to build out a basic sitemap of the few pages that we're going to build for them in this phase of the website. So with that, discovery is done. We know what we're building. We know what success looks like. We have the answers to all of our questions and problems, as well as deeper understanding of the pages and the structure. It's time to move on to the next step.
So this building a website in a week is including all this stuff. It's not just the actual website build. So he's talking about these client meetings and going back and forth and discovery. It's going to do all that and build a website in a week, I think.
Which is wireframing, grabbing the copy, and starting to mood board things out. Just because a project has a fast turnaround time doesn't mean that you deliver garbage. We deliver high quality custom web design every time. And to do that, we had to minimize the scope of work. And this is the first phase of work that we accomplished in 1 week. So we do everything custom, and that means we don't skip things like the mood boarding or the visual exploration section or phase of the project. We still do that, but it's because we've shrunken the scope down to an attainable time limit, we're able to still do it. So we moved into a mood boarding phase of the project. We grabbed a bunch of samples from around the internet and brought them into some cohesive mood boards. This is a nautical themed website for a company.
Does anybody actually like this? I see people doing things like this, and it feels like it's mostly just supposed to make you look smarter than you really are. Do clients, I've tried this one time, and I get that that's very anecdotal. I tried to do this one time, and the client was just not, they were just like, whatever, just build something. Like they were not engaged at all in this whole mood board and trying to lock down the kind of look and feel that they were going for. They just didn't seem to care. So it's probably just a bad client, but I just wonder, like, usually a client will send me a couple examples of a website. Like, I kind of like the way this looks. I kind of like this part of that website. And then we just kind of go from there. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If there's anybody watching this channel that does something like this. The first time I ever saw this was a Chris Do video. It wasn't from his channel. It was his business, The Future. And they were basically just showing a whole video series of a project building a whole brand new website for a brewery in California. And they did something like this. I forget what they called it. Same concept. That was the first time I ever saw it. And I saw that and I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. But, you know, over the years, I'm just starting to wonder, do clients really like this? Does it really help? Is it really providing value, or is it just adding more steps to your process that isn't really helping at all? Let me know what you guys think. If anyone is out there doing this mood board thing and you really feel like it's adding value to your process, let me know.
Company called Ahoy, and we came up with 3 visual directions. One we called Moody and Serious, and just grabbed a bunch of inspiration from the internet, from Pinterest, from Dribbble, from Contra. We grabbed some more examples.
I'm surprised he's not using AI to, maybe he will, he hasn't finished yet, but I'd be surprised if he didn't use AI to help come up with this mood board.
Here we called illustrative and modern, and a third one we called retro and nautical. It took us about 10 minutes to grab samples, throw them in here, but we don't just deliver mood boards because clients have a really hard time making decisions based off of mood boards. It's like trying to decorate your house, but the house isn't built yet. They don't know what color the curtains should be yet, so they need to see a closer example of what a web design actually is going to look like without actually doing all of the high fidelity web design work. So we take mood boards, we translate them into what we call style tiles. These resemble a website, but they are not the final website by any means. We've brought each of those themes in and just laid them into some basic website kind of layout structures, mastheads, heroes, buttons, typography. We can actually see things in situation or in context of the website, of what the website could actually look like. This actually speeds up the process drastically. If you find yourself during your website projects getting stuck in these cycles of revision that are really, really narrow, revising the mood boards, revising the sitemaps, revising the wireframes, you need to actually do a little bit more, deliver a little bit more on the front end so it's more impressive, it's more understandable, there's more clarity to it, and that actually will shoot your timeline so much forward, it'll make the whole process faster. From these samples that we provided, the client gave us a little bit of feedback and told us they liked the idea of having it be kind of dark and moody, but they still wanted some kind of illustrative vibe to it. So from that, we came back and we threw together one more revised style tile that had a little bit of an illustration inside of here, custom illustration, and just started mocking things up, and they liked.
This doesn't look dark and moody at all. It looks more like the retro nautical with a little bit of the illustrious.
This take. We found some supporting imagery here that we were thinking about and started to do a light mode version and a dark mode version, and the client loved this. So we've done our discovery, we've done our visual exploration and inspiration finding, and at this point we're only on about day 2 of the process. We are flying through the process with our client. They're super happy with the progress so far. It's time to move into high fidelity design. Now, before we jump all the way into high fidelity design, we're gonna just take a moment, breathe, grab all of the current content and copy from their current website that they have and organize those into the pages that we're gonna build. And then we used a tool like Reloom to give us a general idea of the layout and structure in wireframe mode. You don't need to create wireframes from scratch anymore. It's just not a valuable use of your time. Use a tool like Reloom, jump into Framer, have it generate a bunch of different wireframes using the wireframe tool in Framer, and you can actually start executing beautiful layouts and wireframes that you can plug your copy into. So we did that and then moved directly into high fidelity design. Now, we don't skimp on high fidelity design around here, so we went through the full design process. We started bringing in illustrations, customizing those illustrations. Then we started getting some different options here when it came to typography and color palettes. We really quickly, within the first day of high fidelity design, got feedback from our client. They preferred a more monochromatic kind of single color palette, all blue, no contrasting color, and they preferred a serif font for their headlines. With those few selections made by our client, that little bit of feedback, we continued to riff on ideas until we came to our first deliverable. This is the first pass that we delivered to our client, the 4 pages with copy uploaded, layout structured, and everything brought together. Now, there's still more work to do here, but we still gave our client that initial round of feedback so we could iterate upon it. And you can see these layouts turned out great. This was supposed to be a really static, really fast turnaround, but as soon as we started designing things like these custom illustrated ships and the landscape and the layers and the backgrounds, we realized that there was a little bit more tweaking that needed to happen. We already started making plans for development to think about things like interactions and animations. So from here, we actually moved over to our final designs, and these were much more cohesive across all of the pages, slimming down the amount of colors we're using and making sure that the site feels holistic, and not only holistic, but will scale well in the future. When we come back for a future phase of this project to do more templates, more pages, we're very locked in on a very minimal color palette. Typography is set and the layouts look fantastic. We got full approval from our client and then started to gather any of the last minute assets that we needed from them and plug them into the design. And with that, we are ready to move into development. And there's no better place to do development than inside of Framer. For polished, professional, and fast turnaround websites, Framer is our tool of choice, and so that's exactly what we did. Now, the place where most website projects get bogged down and bottlenecked is in the development phase of things. Why? Because the designers have to document and communicate and hand off to developers, and the developers need to make sure they understand exactly what needs to happen from the designers. But when you use a tool like Framer, you don't have to do that, because you, as the designer, you don't need to do much of a handoff because you're just handing things off to yourself. You don't have to document or communicate because you know exactly how the design should look once they are in their final state as a website. And Framer allows you and me as designers to build websites ourselves without massive rounds of QA and pixel pushing and tweaking things and changing things. Framer is my tool of choice for building websites. If you haven't used Framer, I have a bunch of different videos here on the channel. You can find those or over in Design Champs. You can learn more about using Framer. It's an amazing tool, but it's as simple as starting a new Framer project. And I immediately create a styles page where I bring over all of my different colors and my typography. You can see here we have our colors laid out. We have all of our text there, our link styles, our color styles. You build that immediately when you show up into Framer, and then everything else is downhill. What do I mean by downhill? It's as simple as coming into your design tool, into Figma, and I can simply open up the Figma to HTML with Framer plugin. I have a section of the website selected, and it allows me to copy that entire section to the clipboard. I can just come back over to Framer, paste it inside, and my website is being built right in front of my eyes. It's that stinking simple. And so that's exactly what we did. We started pasting in all the different sections and building all the different pages. And there's some custom interactivity here, like adding custom tickers or interactive pieces here. But really all you have to do is paste your objects in, paste your sections in, start building out the pages, make them responsive by creating these new breakpoints on our infinite canvas here inside of Framer, and then just format things. If you want something to be 100% width, set it to 100% width.
I want to see the code output of this website. I hope he shows that.
You want it to fill? Set it to fill. If you want to put things in a kind of auto layout structure, we use stacks inside of Framer. And again, you can learn all about this, other videos on the channel. Check out Design Champs and you can learn more about it there as well. We have courses on Framer, so you could definitely check it out. But it's as simple as building your pages just like you would in your design tool. Copy and paste, format, and then make sure that everything is precisely how you want it. And that's what we did. We started building out all of our pages here. Our home page, our about page. We used amazing features inside of Framer like page templates, so I can create my navigation and my footer and elements all in one sitting. And now I can just load up the content directly inside of the body section. So now I have consistency at scale across my pages. And then it comes time to figure out, what do you do with all this extra time? What we realized is we were done with design and development within 4 days, and we had extra time. And this is one of the key things you should always strive to do when you're doing client work, is to underpromise and overdeliver. So since we were so far ahead of schedule and had completed this website pretty much in 4 days, we said, hey, we noticed you needed a couple of landing pages. How about we build those out for you too, as well as think about adding some more interactivity and maybe even some fun animations. And so we did. This 4-page website, it scaled up to be maybe like a 9-page website, a 10-page website, because we were able to build some extra landing pages for them, implement their HubSpot forms, do a lot of extra work for them, and then even come in and start adding specific animations. And to do that, it's as simple as grabbing any item you want to animate, going over to the effects panel and adding looping animations, scrolling animations, appear animations. We can copy and paste those animations anywhere we want. And what we get is going from a flat design to a potentially static website to now an immersive, interactive, responsive website that has parallax effects, moving ships, appearing elements, interactive selectors. The whole thing comes together, and Framer allows you to do it like that. And so with that being said, all we had to do at this point was go up and push that big blue publish button, connect their DNS, and check it out. The website is now live on the internet, and it looks and feels exactly like we want it to. Everything is working, everything is functioning. The client is ecstatic about how the whole thing turned out. It has interactivity, animations, movement, motion. The whole thing felt like $1 million. And because when you build pages inside of Framer, we were able to map all of their current URL structure, so they lost no SEO. We were able to map all of that immediately to the new site. So when you click on About, it's the same URL structure, and that's simple to do. So we're talking about a website with SEO, with fast optimized performance, animations, interactions, and all of that was done in about a week. And that's it. There's no secret sauce. It's just a fast, systematized.
Okay, I mean, he mentioned SEO, but all he really mentioned was just making sure the URLs are the same, which is not difficult. I'm wondering, I wanted to see him actually do it. He didn't show the process of like copying and then pasting into Framer, see what that looks like. What about alt tags? Did he go back in later and add alt tags to the images? What's accessibility like on this website? What's the code output like? I guess we can actually, let's go look at the code. Was it ahoyahoy.com? How awful is this? Let's see here. It's not looking terrible. Let's see. Let's look at this. Got H1. We got it. It's inside a div here. Yep. So there's a div just for the H1. Interesting. What's this? It says it's hidden. There's a div just for that welcome to Ahoy Ahoy. There's a div for this text. So everything, just everything gets a div, whether it needs it or not. It's like this button's got a div. This button's got a couple divs. That's a little weird, but it's not terrible. It's not like Elementor or something. It's not divs inside of divs inside of divs. But it is a little weird that it put each one of these things in a div. Really, this would all just be one div. And then you have a text, a heading, another text, and a link. Not 4 separate divs. What's this thing back here? That is pretty neat. I like parallax. I don't know how accessible all this is. All the people who are always going on about accessibility, they don't want anything on a website to move ever. Like you have an animation where something fades in, they're like, no, can't do it. That's going to give somebody a seizure. So like, I don't know what the accessibility folks would say about this website. I don't think it's too bad. It's not like there's stuff going crazy. It's just got a slow moving marquee here. Got this slow moving ship. It's probably fine. That might be a lot. I guess you can, there's like browser settings that like disable a lot of the motion stuff if it's a problem for you. So maybe it's not really a big issue to worry about these days. Yeah, this isn't bad. Let me guess, these all get their own divs. Yep, that text gets the div, couple divs. Nope, okay, this whole thing's a div, that's not bad. And then there's a div, button's a div. Okay, Framer looks pretty neat to me. I don't use Figma. I'm not a designer. The guy I normally hire to design stuff doesn't use Figma. But it seems like if you use Figma, that Figma to Framer looks like a pretty cool workflow. I wasn't sure what he did with the publish there. I'm not, is Framer like a website or is it a software you download and then, I don't know what publish meant. Like, do they host it? Does Framer have hosting? These are all questions that I could probably answer from their website if I really cared.
Process that uses the right tools like Framer to accelerate your web design process, going from weeks or months down to a series of days to turn around quality professional web designs like the one that I just showed you. My client is happy. We got paid.
I'm a little skeptical. I'll say impressed. I'll be nice. I'm impressed. Ha! I did it again. I am the worst at pausing this guy. I can't look at that. I have to. That's better. I'm a little impressed by how quickly he got a design. The mood board and everything, and then putting together the fake website with the mood boards, and then designing the actual website. He got all that done in like a day. I guess that's the advantage of, I'm assuming he's like got a whole in-house agency versus me. I'm just one person, and then if I'm hire a designer, that designer, you know, he's already got other projects he's working on, so he fits me into his schedule. So like I can't just be like, hey Devin, I need an entire website designed. I need it by tomorrow. That's not something I can do. It might not take him a whole lot of time to do it, but you know, I gotta wait my turn. He's got 3 other projects already, you know. So I guess that's the advantage of when you have a whole agency and you get to decide what everybody's working on when, then you can do stuff like this. That's just pretty impressive.
Recommending us to more clients, and this is how you build a successful web design business: by under-promising, over-delivering, systematizing, and choosing the right tools for the job. If you have any questions about any part of the process, want to get your hands on my proposal template or my starting templates in Figma or starting templates in Framer, feel free to hit the link down below, jump into Design Champs. I talk about all of this and I give away all of this stuff for free. So I hope
Design Champs. Does Zimri Mayfield know that this guy is calling this group the Design Champs? Somebody needs to tell Zimri about this.
that you'll become a Design Champ member for free, jump into the community, and learn more about building your sustainable design business. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments, but make sure that you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you know when more helpful content like this one comes out. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. Hope you're designing amazing things. Hope you're making amazing things. And we'll see you in the next one, Design Champs.
No, you cannot. If you don't know who Zimri Mayfield is, look him up. He's a hilarious graphic designer who took a pretty big hiatus from YouTube, then came back, and now he seems to be gone again. But I love his channel. Anywho's, I think that was a good video. I liked it. Nothing particularly groundbreaking about his process. That seems to be fairly typical process from beginning to end. I don't think it typically happens in 4 days. That was impressive. And that was my first time seeing Framer in action. So, and I didn't really get to see it in action. He just kind of showed it after he already did all of it, which is a little disappointing. But I think he was going for he wasn't going for a Framer tutorial. He was going for, look what I did in 5 days. So, I just, maybe I'll check out some more of his work. I bet he's got some other videos where he really actually gets into Framer and how it works. I think that could be interesting. I'm not going to switch to it, but it just helps to know stuff. You know, you never know. Maybe I'll take over a client project someday and they're using Framer or something. So it would be helpful to at least have some idea what's going on. So tell me what you think. Anybody out there using Framer? I think a lot of my viewers probably use Etch or are at least interested in Etch, or at the very least are using WordPress. So maybe somebody out there is watching my video and they're not into WordPress and they're into Framer. Also, if you used to use WordPress and you switched to Framer, I'd love to hear that story. I'd love to hear why you did that. But I think that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next one.